So the trailer for Ironheart just come out, and I've been seeing a bunch of different opinions, whether it be from streamers, Marvel subreddits, fans, whatever you want to say, and I wanted to talk about it. Now here's the thing. I've seen Ironheart before. This is not her first debut. She was in the comics back in 2016 and a few others, so it's not like they're just making this character to have a knockoff Iron Man in the MCU. This is a real character that's already existed, but I feel like they had some responsibility. As we all know, Marvel fans are pretty sensitive about the whole Iron Man, Tony Stark thing, and it's been like 6 years, but people are still sensitive about that shit. You gotta tread lightly, and Marvel knows this. Why they would go and make a character that their whole spiel is to steal the ideas of Iron Man, basically? I mean, you gotta be fucking idiot. I'm gonna be honest. They should have waited for the right time for this to happen, but maybe they're just trial running it before all of this whole Avengers Doomsday stuff happens, where maybe they'll have an Iron Man in it, because they can't have, Robert Downey Jr. playing Iron Man and then Robert Downey Jr. playing Victor Von Doom. I still don't think that they'll kind of replace his role, but maybe they're just doing a trial run, so whatever happens in Avengers Secret Wars, it can reset the entire timeline, or just delete this character from existence, or maybe they'll start fresh in Marvel, and that's kind of what I'm foreseeing happening. I feel like they're gonna have to reset with all the shit that's happened recently, and especially people are not liking these new characters as much. They've had a tough 6 years. A lot good has come from it, but a lot bad has come from it, and this is gonna be one of those things where it's either gonna be really good like Moon Knight, or it's gonna be really bad like She-Hulk. And I got a feeling every time you have a hero that's based off another hero, it's not gonna do well, and that's what She-Hulk was. She-Hulk was a female version of Hulk. Now you have a female version of Iron Man, and here's my thing. If you make a character original, but they are based off the same attributes, it's good. Like Yelena, for instance. She is Black Widow's sister. It makes sense as they have the same training and all that, and it has a really cool, good story to it. It has substance. Ironheart, I feel like, is not going to have that. It's about a girl that's super smart, and she's MIT, and she had an internship at Wakanda, but it's just some random. You don't have any character to build your basis off of other than, okay, well, this girl really likes Iron Man, and she's just smart enough where she can actually fucking make Iron Man's suit. She's gonna make a knockoff. Now here's my thing. I think this show will be really cool for the simple fact of I love to see all the other characters from Marvel react to the fact that there's this new Iron Man, because people like Spider-Man, I feel like he's gonna be pissed about it. Seeing the reactions of all these characters would be really, really neat, because I don't know how they'll react. It's kind of like a guessing game. One thing I do think is kind of flaky about the character is, why did they have to make her a thief, man? The whole plot to the trailer is pretty much saying, okay, well, you got to get your hands dirty before you can really become famous. And I'm going to be honest, man. I'm going to say this, and this is going to sound bad, but this is not my opinion. I just have to point this out. Why did they have to make the only black Iron Man, and a black woman at that, a thief? Why? Like, they've got to know. Somebody, I don't care, because it's probably in the comics, but it's crazy to think that they think that nobody's gonna get pissed off about that. Because even I was like, come on, bro, really? This girl gets her debut, and the first thing you mention is the fact that she's stealing things like money and whatever else. She's working with a gang so she can get all this done and make her dream come true. It's like, bro, I understand in the story she's literally from Chicago, but man, you couldn't make her like this. You couldn't make her better than Tony Stark, morally at least. And not to say they're trying to paint that picture, but I feel like that's a little bit of an undertone that I don't like. Now, do I think this show will be as bad as She-Hulk? No. She-Hulk was absolutely horrible. But I think this show will be at least right above it, just barely better than it. I also see a lot of people on the internet claiming that, oh, well, you guys have prejudice because it's a woman being the main character. And I would just like to say that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, because if you look at Marvel as a whole, there's plenty of lead characters that are women. Two of my favorite shows that kind of coincide with each other that both are led by women: WandaVision and Agatha All Along. Great shows, beautiful, great storytelling substance. And I'm using me as an example here because I am the majority of Marvel, man. I feel like I agree with 80 to 90% of the opinions that people have with these shows. So if I like these, and you look at the ratings of these shows, they're through the roof. Black Widow is at least in my top 10 of all the movies. I would argue that Thunderbolts has more women in the actual leading cool roles than it does have men, because, hey, Yelena's the only reason why I even went and watched that movie in the theaters, honestly. I fucking love Yelena. I'm going to be real. There's plenty of good examples of them making good characters that are played by women, man. It's because the character fucking sucks, man. There's plenty of male characters I don't like either, because they have no substance. They have no nothing good in them at all. Hell, I didn't even like War Machine for the first 10 years he was out because I was like, damn, okay, someone's got a sidekick. When you create a character, you need to have more to sustain the character. I feel like they keep throwing this shit out here that's just barely anything built in the comic books yet, so they have nothing to work with. I don't know how many Ironheart comic books there has been. I don't know how many She-Hulk comic books there's been. But there's not enough there to draw from to make something interesting, and you've got to make a storyline before you make the show. You've got to have some direction for it to end up in. You've got to have some way for it to start, and I don't understand how this is going to start and end. Because all I see this show doing is going, okay, you want an Iron Man suit. Do all this side quest shit between. You get the money for it. You sit in a lab for a few days and box of scraps it. Make a shitty suit, and then you're going to see the same trial and error with her as Iron Man actually had with his suit. That's all the show is going to be up until the end. And then maybe she'll have to defend some shit. Like, she'll have to go and help with something, or maybe something will happen, or damn, I don't know, man. This show really could lead into the time after the Fantastic Four, because I believe this show debuted around the release of the Fantastic Four, but I just don't know how they're going to build off of it. The only thing I can see, like I said earlier, was just some way of implementing her into the Secret Wars or Doomsday side of things. But I don't see how she'll play a very vital role, one, and two, nobody's going to be happy about her being the Iron Man for that. You just established this character, and you can't put her in such big shoes off the rip, bro. I wouldn't even say you could do that with Moon Knight, and I fucking love Moon Knight. I feel like the whole concept of making this was just thrown together, because this is one of the very few shows that I haven't heard about profusely before it was announced. Before WandaVision was fully announced, I feel like I heard some whims of her getting her own show, heard all kinds of rumors about some other shows like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I always kind of heard that it was planned, right? And it always pretty decent. I didn't really like, you know what I mean? It was all planned, and it led into something more. They made Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then guess what? Captain America movie. Very good movie. And I just don't see a future for this. I don't see how she's going to make it past her TV show. That's kind of my thing. Like, I could see Moon Knight getting a movie, or maybe starring in other movies. I just don't see her doing it. I don't see how the long-term plan for her is. I feel like they're making the show as a spinoff. They should have made this shit like the Netflix spinoffs, like, you know, S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that, where it's kind of separated. But now, for some reason, they all canonize that, where it's like, oh yeah, that was in the fucking universe. I don't know. Whatever. They should have had this as like a spinoff thing that was its own thing, and I feel like it would have been much more appreciated. Oh no, I think the show won't be horrible. I think it'll be okay. I think it'll be watchable. I just don't foresee the long term for it. That's all I wanted to say. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please don't scream at me in the comments. I know I said some very controversial things. In my opinion, please.